Good morning, students. You're welcome back once more to this second semester. I'm going to lecturing you in the course Psy222. Course title is Experimental Psychology. My name is Vakpa Iliya. The course content, we have almost 12 course content since the university guideline gave us almost 11 weeks to run up our program. At the first we will talk of introduction, the definition of experimental psychology and its importance, and also brief recap on the variable, that is independent, dependent variable, and external variable. We'll go along with it, even explain the method of controlling or the way of controlling the external variable. Then the third week we will look at the aspect of design, what the design is all about, and we look at the type of experimental design. Then the fourth week we will look at the components of experimental design. The fifth week, analysis in experimental design. The sixth, step in conducting experimental design. 7, practical way of conducting experimental design. And the 8th week, we need to look at the ethical principle in advanced experimental design. Then at the 9th week is a practical aspect of paper presentation by students, so that you incorporate what you have learned to put it in practice and present it before the lecturers for assessment. Then the 10th week is your revision, and also the 11th week. Now, proper introduction. As we all know, the origin of psychology is also the origin of experimental design, because psychology cannot go without design. The aim of this course is to purely focus on practical aspects of experimental design. The emphasis is placed on the student on how to design, undertake, and also analyze certain statistics in design and report their own experimental as practical, because every aspect of psychology you must engage in design, and design is a part of the requirement that as a 200 level student you must understand what is design, whether in the clinical setting, industrial setting, and also social setting. And also forensic psychology is not left out, because there are social issues that you need to do what you call design. Because since we are dealing with human behavior, we need to understand how to apply the design in the behavioral setting. Now, what is experimental design? Experimental design is a branch of psychology that concerns with the scientific investigation of the response of an individual to stimulus in controlling situation. To make it simple, according to me, it can also be defined as a scientific and empirical approach to the study of mind. As we all know, the goal of psychology is to understand human behavior. How will you understand human behavior? You must understand the mind, in which we understand the motto of our department, that we are behavioral engineer. You need to understand behavior. And behavior are two things. We have stimulus of individual and the response in terms of situation. We have critical issue in terms of illness, accident, poor performances in the exams, and other social issues that are affecting our generation. Therefore, the aim of the experimental design is to inculcate and also dissect the aspect of the psychology that involve how you measure your behavior, how you classify your behavior, how you read your behavior, so that you have a better way of understanding. In which I know some of you here would like to be in the clinical setting, and in the clinical setting whereby you deal with a diagnosis, and this diagnosis you need to have a design for that. So for you to understand the cause better, you must understand experimental design. Since we have known what is experimental design, now what is design itself? And based on this, we define design as a blueprint that spells out the method on how to carry out a research. It is based on this that we need to itemize some of the importance of experimental design. And with experimental design helps you to plant, it assists you in smooth flowing of the research questions, and also enable the student to know the reliability and validity of certain instruments that you want to involve in that research. And also it determines and it helps in saving cost of expenditure, and also help you to get review from other expertise. Because when you do design, there are other expertise that need to understand what you are doing, and they go through that in order to review most of your things that you need to do. Therefore, for the purpose of this course, you need to pay attention and dwell on experimental design, because it's one of the branch of psychology that concerns with the scientific investigation. When we're talking in terms of scientific investigation, we're talking about stimulus response. And in psychology, whatever you fear, you must have a stimulus. That is where we need the issue of cause-effect relation. Whatever we're doing, we're trying to find out what is the cause of the problem. For you to solve a problem, you must understand the cause. If you didn't understand the cause of the problem, you can't solve it. It is based on this that for you to do that, it will go a long way to help you to plan, even in your daily activity, to understand the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable. The second one we'll be talking about brief recap on the variable, which is independent, dependent, and extraneous variable. No matter how it is, for you to understand this course, you must know what is variable. Variable is a characteristic that can be measured and that can be assumed different value. An example of variable is the height, age, income, and also a country, the grade of students scored, the aptitude test for swimming, everything. All those ones are variables that you need to understand them. Now, since we have understand what is variable, that is a characteristic, and all these things like age, grade in examination, population, and even some objects are variable. Therefore, we need to understand what is independent variable. Independent variable refers to things that can be manipulated or changed in an experiment. Anything that can be changed is what we call independent variable. Or anything that causes changes in other person behavior is called independent variable. Example of independent variable. A family that has husband and wife, the husband normally determines the situation of the house. The husband now will define him as what? Independent variable. So therefore, in academic setting, we the lecturers were the independent variable, while the students are referred as dependent variable, which they can be measured. Because all whatever we are given in terms of lectures, and after the lectures we give you assignment and exams, all those ones are part of what? dependent variable, which will measure your behavior based on your performance. At this point in time, the external variables are variables that normally causes change, that are things that you do not invite them, but they normally try to affect your result when you want to conduct the research. Because they influence the relationship between the variables in an experiment. And they try to obstruct that. And these extraneous variables are things that sometimes we can control and are things that we cannot control them. And things that we can control them is like environment, the instrument that you are using, and at the same time the noise, you can control noise. But there are certain things that you cannot control, like weather purpose, gender, and age. You cannot control all those ones. Those ones are naturally created by God. And for that, for you to understand all these things, you need to know how to control external variables. There are different ways of controlling external variables. We have randomization, we have counterbalancing, we have mapping, PS, we have what we call counterbalancing, and all these ones depend on the nature of your design. The design spells out the nature of how you control the external variable. And then sometimes if you cannot control it, you make the independent variable to become dependent variable so that you have accurate measurement of your experimental design. In the course of this study, you get to know when you are in 3 to 400 level, you get to know how to design, because this one is more applicable in your chapter 3 when you're conducting your method. And most of people, they normally tell you that what is your design. The design is in different form, but for the purpose of this course, we focus on what? On 3 types of design, which is between group, within group, and single case design. Even though there are other aspects of it that we need to use factorial design, but meanwhile, that one, when we reach there, we'll let you to understand which one is more applicable. But for now, you have to focus on the 3 types. In the next lectures, we would like to understand most of the things that we have lived in the first week. On the other side, we will know the design, the approach to design. There are different approaches to design, and the approaches are also what we call a type of design. Therefore, for the purpose of these 2 weeks that we have spent, I would like to post it. We will continue next time and also expatiate more. And also, I advise that after listening to this audio, you should try by all means and have a physical contact in the department so that we can harmonize things together. You ask questions, even though this one is very important. But meanwhile, there are other aspects that I need to invite my senior colleagues in order to administer some of the treatment in terms of the practical aspect of it. And that one will go a long way for you to send your knowledge outside there. And anywhere you met what we're talking about design or experimental design, you got to understand the knowledge of design very well, so that any organization after living here, whether military, institution, NGOs, and other aspects, you can call upon to design an experimental design in order to measure certain problems that are happening within the society, because this design is not only in psychology, but in other aspects. In other aspects, they normally deal with what we call survey, quantitative case design, and longitudinal. All those ones are part of design. But meanwhile, for the purpose of this level now, you need to dwell on between and within also factorial and single case